YouTube, it is Sean Matrai, and he is back with his Ritual Beast guide. Hello, YouTube. I'm here to give you a new updated guide on Ritual Beast. I also will be streaming Stage 2, so if you want to go check that out, make sure you follow me on Twitch. And if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Much appreciated. We are trying to go for YouTube partner as well. Okay, so we're going to go over what the Ritual Beasts do and the Spiritual Beasts and all of that. And I'm going to give you a full combo guide, and I'm also going to give you a deck overview. So sit back and enjoy the show. So, Ritual Beasts are all Ritual Beast monsters. Now, this is going to be a little confusing. They're all Ritual Beast monsters. However, they're divided into two categories, Spiritual Beasts and Tamers. Alright, so your Tamers, as far as Duel Links are concerned, are Elder, Winda, and Lara. Now, we do not play Wen and Zephyr and Bilica in our builds. Zephyr and Bilica is useful in Master Duel because you can search her off of Win, the Wind Charmer, and she's also useful for dumping Winda off Pengu, but that's not something that really comes up in Duel Links. Wen is useful off a Die Shifter, but that's something we really don't use in Duel Links. Okay, that doesn't come up, because Die Shifter is not legal in Duel Links. Alright, with that being said, let's go over the deck, shall we? Alright, so first we run 2 copies of Ritual Beast Tamer Elder. So the Tamers are, we're going to go over first. Now, Elder gives you an additional normal summon whenever you summon of any Ritual Beast monster. That can be a Tamer or it can be a Spiritual Beast. However, Elder cannot be negated by Fiendish Chain, Breakthrough Skill, etc. Okay, now I see this happen all over the ladder, and you're probably wondering why. If I activate Fiendish Chain, it negates the effects of a monster. So why isn't it negated? Because Elder does not prompt an activation, you cannot Fiendish Chain it. Okay, because it does not prompt an activation, and its effect on field is lingering, the minute you Fiendish it, it's too late, and your effect will linger, and you will get to summon additional Spiritual Beasts that turn. Alright? Or Tamer, or whatever you want to do. They cannot stop that because it does not prompt an activation, and it's lingering continuous effect. So those effects cannot be stopped by Fiendish Chain. Okay? So that's something you need to understand. Or Breakthrough Skill, whatever you're going to do to try to stop it. The only way you stop an Elder is if you have a Floodgate and Negate on the field already. So something like Destiny or Plasma on the field, then you will not be able to use Elder because the Negate is already live on the field. Next, we have Lara. Lara can be negated, but unlike Elder, she summons from the graveyard. So you can prompt back a Tamer or Spiritual Beast, most 99% of the time, from the graveyard. You're going to be summoning Spiritual Beast, generally a Paleo, Cannahawk, or Petalfin. Sometimes you will summon Winda, but most of the time you're not doing that. Next, you are running 3 Winda. You need 3 of this if you want to play this deck optimally. And I recommend you get it while it's half off gem sale. At the time of recording, this is half off gem sale time. Now, if it's destroyed by the opponent's card effect, you can special summon a Ritual Beast monster, any Tamer or Spiritual Beast from the main deck, or a fusion from the extra deck. Now, what you need to understand here is that all of your Ritual Beast monsters, your Spiritual Beasts included, can only be special summoned once per turn. So if you special summon the Winda from wherever already, you cannot special summon another Winda from the deck. So it has to not be special summoned that turn for you to float into another Winda. Okay? So that is something you need to understand. Next, we have the Spiritual Beast. Now, there's one more thing I want to go over with Winda. If they destroy it with a random effect in the hand, being destroyed in your possession accounts for... When they say in your possession, it means graveyard. Obviously can't be destroyed while it's in the graveyard. That's a bit ridiculous. But it can be destroyed in your hand or on your field. Alright, in your possession accounts for everything. Your banished, your graveyard, your hand, or field. Now, if they activate something like an Aqua Dolphin or an Aqua Neos and destroy Winda in the hand, she will float. Okay, so that's something you need to understand. If they destroy Winda and she's destroyed and she goes to the banish pile, she will also float. So that's very important. This was very relevant during like mock format as well. When mock was live and you could use level augmentation. So that was something that you need to understand as well. Okay. Now, on to the spiritual beast. Oh, I also want to bring up that Winda also counts as a ritual beast tamer and a spiritual beast, because she writes spiritual beast tamer Winda. So that means you can use her for any part in the fusion. All your fusions require a tamer and a spiritual beast, but she counts for both. So keep that in mind. Next, we have 3 Cannahawk. You need 3 of this. Cannahawk is your main extender, and it's excellent at doing so. On field, you banish 1 Ritual Beast card from your deck face up. During the second standby phase, after this card resolved, you can add that target to your hand. But it's really used to extend your combos. In a slower case, yes, you can banish it and then get it to your hand during the second standby phase, like a gold sarcophagus. But this can banish it, and then you can contact off, extend your combos. Now, all of your Ritual Beast effects, your Spiritual Beasts, are soft once per turn. Yes, they are soft. Winda's effect of floating is a soft once per turn. So everything except for things like Laura and Elder are soft once per turns, or Went, or Pilica. But every one of your spiritual beasts are soft once per turns. That's more of what I should say that make it a bit easier. Cannahawk being a soft once per turn means that you can use its effect as many times as you can summon it, but you can only special summon it once. So you're going to likely only be using Cannahawk's effect twice in a turn, unless you have one in play already and you normal summon the second one and do that, but that's not really going to come up. So yeah, that's something you need to know. That really helps strengthen your banish pile, which is really important to helping you win Ritual Beast. Pedalfin is a bounce. You target 1 card in the field, banish 1 Ritual Beast monster or card. Any Ritual Beast card can be returned, can be ambushed, and then return that target to the hand. Or in case of extra deck monsters, they will go back to the extra deck. And it is very possible to use Pedalfin twice in a turn. Sometimes you'll have it in play during the end phase, and you'll use it 3 times to clear a whole field. And how can you do that? We'll talk about multi-Cannahawk loops, and you'll understand that. A Paleo is a quick effect. During either player's turn, you can target a Ritual Beast card in your graveyard, banish it, and if you do, a Paleo will gain 500 attack and defense. Actually, no. All your Ritual Beast monsters will gain 500 attack and defense. And what's really good here is that sometimes if your opponent's not paying attention, you can float this off Winda, and if they try to swing in with a Roach, and you boost this up and they don't know, then they will lose their Roach. But you could also like float into this and then swing over a Roach, boost up, and then get over it that way if you're afraid to deal with a Roach. It's also really good to recover your banish pile, and for a follow-up play with Laura, it's fantastic. Now, Pengu is one that a lot of people generally don't play, but I'm going to show you the combos with it. What Pengu does is it banishes a fusion from your extra deck, a Ritual Beast fusion, and then you send a monster with the same type from your deck to your graveyard. I should say Ritual Beast extra deck monster, because again, in the TCG, you can run Ulti-Kumin-Falco, banish that, and send a Winda. But again, like I said, that doesn't generally come up. So, you know, leave it at what it is, but that is something you technically could do. It doesn't come up in duelings because we don't have Ulti-Kumin-Falcos. Okay. Now, for our text in this deck, I was running 3 Book, 2 Canadia, and 2 White Princess. Also, the spells and traps, we play Return. This banishes a Ritual Beast monster from your hand, then targets one of your Ritual Beast monsters that is banished or in your graveyard and special summons it. So, really, really important. Return can banish a Winda. So, if you like open up Cannahawk Winda, you can go Cannahawk, banish an Elder, activate Return, banish the Winda, and then resummon the Elder and set up a double Winda setup. Return's really good, and it's also really efficient in your OTKs. Now, some people may be asking, where is Bond? And where is Ambush? Right now in the meta, I really don't see room for either of these 2 cards. Ambush is really good against Lunalights when they go for Cat, Saber, Butterfly, but we'll talk about that when we get into the combo section of the video. But that's something that could come up there. Bond really doesn't come up too much in this meta. I don't think Bond is that great right now, but you can play it if you want to. The same as Ambush. Ambush is better. I could see Ambush being reliable, but I generally don't play either or right now. White Princess, though. This card is sensational in the Ritual Beast list because you can use this offensively or defensively. One, if you use White Princess, right, let's say you tag out during your turn and you top deck into this. You can activate White Princess before you fuse, make their monsters go to 0, and then when you fuse, you reset your own monsters. You can also swing with this card with an Ulti Paleo, and then essentially it becomes a score because Ulti Paleo will make it unaffected by card effects. We'll go over the fusions in a second. So really, really good applications of White Princess that you need to understand. Also, White Princess is great defensively because if you use it while you have a fusion on the field, you can take out that fusion, you regain your original stats of whatever you summon, and then it probably protect the materials that come off of that fusion from being killed. So really, really good. Okay, so White Princess is really good offensively and defensively in this deck. Ulti Paleo is your first fusion, and all your fusions take a Ritual Beast Tamer and a Spiritual Beast monster. There are no ifs, ands, or buts unless you crash in with Winda and summon it. Alright, so Ulti Paleo can be, when it attacks, it is unaffected by all card effects. Alright, so all activated card effects, I should say. So if you attack and they activate Sphere Karibo, that's a no-no. It will not go to defense. Same with a Wall D. If they wait to declaration and then book you, well, that's too late. So again, that's really, 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 something that you have to keep in mind of. Okay, so that is something you have to keep very well fresh in your mind. That if you attack when it's unaffected by all card effects. Now, that only accounts for when it attacks, not when it's swung into. So if you swing into an Ulti Paleo and they activate something like a Lance, then it will be affected. Okay? So that's something you need to understand. It only applies for when you attack. Now, all Ritual Beast fusions have this text. Quick effect, they have a quick effect where they can tag out into a Tamer and a Spiritual Beast. So this is very important because if they try to activate Floodgate Canadia, Bookaboo, a really good Ritual Beast player will set up their tag outs to bait out those certain cards. So that way you end up negging one and wasting your back row on fusions that are not going to get stopped anyway. So that's something very, very important. Okay? So all of your fusions have that. Now, the most important fusion of them all is Cannahawk. You need 2 of this. This card is really, really good because this promotes looping. So what Cannahawk does is, this is a soft once per turn. You can target 2 Ritual Beast cards in your Banish Zone, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, add a Ritual Beast card from your deck to your hand. Now, what's very important here is in the text of Cannahawk, it says, return them to the graveyard. Now, because it says them and not those, them accounts for any number of cards as long as one of those cards has been returned. It doesn't specify the targets, alright? Which is really important for doing your Cannahawk loop. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, I have an Elder, I have a Cannahawk, and I have a Winda in my banished pile. If I activate Cannahawk's first effect, and then chain its second effect, I'm going to show you what happens. If you have Elder+Cannahawk+Winda, what you would do is you would take your Cannahawk, and let's say you wanted to summon back Elder and Hawk on the field, you would activate the first effect, targeting a card you want to send to the graveyard, and a card you don't. So, let's say we want to send Winda to the graveyard, and we want to summon Elder Hawk. We target Elder and Winda, and then we would send Winda to the grave, and then Elder we want to summon. Then on the second chain link, since our second effect is a quick effect, we chain that quick effect to send Cannahawk back to the extra deck, and then we tag out into Elder and Cannahawk. Now, because it says them, and we sent a specified target, which is Winda, to the graveyard, it did not have to be bulk because it's a them. We can now add a Ritual Beast card from a deck to our hand. This enables a lot of free searching and constant looping because there's a lot of times that you can be able to activate Cannahawk multiple times in a turn. That's going to be really good once you start getting up to having a really thick banish pile. Now, one more thing you need to know about Ulti-Cannahawk is you can raw search. So I could just routinely send an Elder and Hawk and get another search. And I'm going to show you a 2-search Elder Hawk combo turn 1. Okay? So that's something you need to understand and know. Now, the last of the fusions is Ulti-Petalfin. Ulti-Petalfin has the distinguished effect that it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if they try to Needle Sealing it, if they try to Alternative Dragon it, if they try to Livineer it, Heliopolis, they will be very upset. Now, the one thing I will say to be careful of is if your opponent has a Book of Moon and they chain this in response and you let the book go through, it will die. Same with Forbidden Chalice, okay? So, don't just assume when they try to destroy your card that your opponent is a fool. Be very careful and always be on high alert. Now, also in the extra deck, we play Malevolent Sin. This is very useful for an Elder Hawk. Removal of 2 monsters on the field, OTK. And it makes it very easy to win. Diagusto Emerald is a tech of mine, specifically. And what this card does is it targets 3 monsters in the graveyard, shuffles them back in the deck, and you can draw a card. You can even recycle your White Princess, but this is really good against something like Lunalight because you can win the deck at war. Alright, so really, really good. So keep this in mind, keep this in your head. Alright, with that being said, we're off to the combos, ladies and gents. Let's do it. Alright, I'm going to surrender when we don't get a good hand. This is not a good hand. So, as soon as I find the surrender, we will surrender this out. Rematch. I will keep doing this until you give me a hand I need. I'm going to keep doing it. Don't do this to me. Stop it. Stop it. You gotta come up at some point, my guy. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. If I don't get... Okay, here we go. Alright, so we're going first here. So what you need to understand here is we have Elder, Hawk, and Winda in the hand. So, even if Winda was in the hand here, as long as we don't draw multiple, we are fine to set it up this way. So this is a traditional turn 1 play that involves Elder and Cannahawk. So let's do it. This will end on a double Winda setup. So what we're going to do first is we're going to normal summon Elder. We are going to then normal summon Cannahawk. On Cannahawk summon, we are going to activate its effect, banishing a Winda from our deck. After that, we are going to contact fuse off our Elder and our Cannahawk to go into Ulti-Cannahawk. With Ulti-Cannahawk on the field, we are not going to use the search effect. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to tag it out. And that's a perfectly okay play. This play, by just tagging out without the search, can just get you more fodder in the banish pile if you don't care about plussing as hard. And this will end on a little bit more protection. So we're just going to return Cannahawk to the extra deck, and we're going to target back Elder and Hawk and resummon it to the field. Now, this might take a little bit of time for you to understand and get down, but once you play the deck really thoroughly and through, you're going to have this combo down where you're going to do this in 2 seconds, which is really important because you're going to want to save a lot of time in Duel Links for the plays that require more of a strat later on. So we're going to activate Cannahawk's effect, banishing the second copy of Winda, and then we are going to go back into Ulti-Cannahawk. Now, I like to make Ulti-Cannahawk here first, because if you go into Ulti-Cannahawk, technically on the first Ritual Beast summon, you could take out any of them, so you might ask me, well, does it matter what I go into? Because all of them can be tagged out, returned to the extra deck to summon out a Tamer and a Spiritual Beast. It does not matter for the first summon that you go into initially off Elder Hawk to resummon the Elder and Hawk, but for the second summon to resummon back to get the search, it does matter that you go into Cannahawk. So for the first one, if you wanted to go into Paleo or Petalfin, by all means, I like to go into Cannahawk first, because if they don't know what your goal is and they want to stop you from searching, they might try to floodgate your Cannahawk, and if that's the case, then you've made them waste the back row. So that's why I do that. Now we activate Cannahawk's effect, and we're going to chain its first effect. Now note, in Duel Links, this has to be toggle, has to be to order on. If you turn it to off, you will not get to use the effect of Cannahawk to loop. So be very, very careful here. So we're going to activate Cannahawk's effect, and we are going to target Elder and Winda. The reason why is, well, in this case, we have Laura, so we're going to target actually Winda and Hawk. We're going to target Winda and Cannahawk. The reason why is we do not want to summon Cannahawk. We've already summoned it. But we want to summon Winda, though. And we want to send Cannahawk to the graveyard. Remember, them. So we want to send Cannahawk to the graveyard, so that way we can get a search off. So we're going to target Winda, and we're going to target Cannahawk here. Winda we want to summon, Cannahawk we do not. So with that being said, we're going to click OK. Then we're going to chain link to its second effect. Now make sure if you have a White Princess, a Book of Moon, a Chalice, a Return, do not chain that in the hand. If you go super duper rapid fire, you could accidentally click that in the hand, and you will activate that card instead, and you will be so upset. Now you're going to return Cannahawk to the extra deck after chaining its second effect, and we're going to tag out into the two monsters we want to summon, including the first monster that we targeted with the first effect. So since we targeted Winda with the first effect, we wanted to summon her, we're going to target that same Winda again, because that way we summon that same Winda and we get value off the Cannahawk. So we're going to go ahead and summon out double Winda to our field, sending Cannahawk to the graveyard to search Laura. Now, to finish off our turn, we are going to contact these two off into an Petalfin in defense, obviously. Now, what we have here, ignoring the White Princess, is we have a double Winda set up in the banish pile, an Petalfin, a Laura follow-up, plus any text you may have in the hand. So a really good turn one setup. And they're going to struggle to break this board. They have to get over an indestructible Petalfin, deal with double Winda, and on top of that, deal with any text that are in the hand. Now, in a case like this, we're going to play this out because I'm going to show you how to set up a second tag out here. So in this case, we could set up a second tag out. Okay. And one thing that always is important here is always tag out in the end phase. Do not forget to tag out, because that's very important. The only time you wouldn't tag out is if you're trying to play around something like Magician's Nav and Circle, and you do not want your monster to get blown up, and you don't know if they're going to have a response on the follow to deal with that you could fuse again. That's the only time you wouldn't tag out in the end phase, is if you're afraid that they're going to disrupt whatever you tag out. So in this case, we are going to tag out here, and we're going to tag out into double Winda. Now, in most cases, you always want to tag out into double Winda, and the reason why is if we tag out into double Winda, it really puts us in a position that if they were to resolve something like a treacherous trap ball, we'd be safe because we'd be able to float off of both of those Windas. So that's just something I want you to know. Now, at this point, we can go ahead and contact these two Windas off into an Cannahawk. Then, we're going to normal summon Laura. We're going to trigger Laura. And then, with Laura, we're going to summon out Cannahawk. Now, one of the things I want to bring out here is with a double tag out. I wanted to teach you about a double tag out. If you tag out and they threaten something to swing over, it's like they threaten to swing over your double Winda. What you can do is, if they swing over one of your Windas, we can float into a Paleo. And because a Paleo, regular Paleo, not the fusion, is a quick effect, we can banish the Elder that we sent to the graveyard, the Cannahawk we sent to the graveyard for the Cannahawk search. And then, because we haven't summoned Elder or Cannahawk that turn, if they attack over your other Winda, we can float back into a fusion, and then use that fusion to tag out into Elder and Cannahawk. Kind of five-headed, I know, but that's something you want to keep in mind. And yes, there are points where you do deal with triple tag outs, but that's a little bit absurd. Okay, so we summon back the Cannahawk, and now we're going to activate Cannahawk here, and we are going to banish the Dolphin. Then we are going to contact these Dolphins to Ulti Paleo, activate Ulti Cannahawk's effect, and we're going to do the same thing we did the first turn, which is the Cannahawk loop. Now you can see how many targets we have in the banish pile. Look at this. We have 3 Tamers, and we have 2 Spiritual Beasts, unless you want to count Winter's Spiritual Beast, but she can only be special summoned once, so you're either summoning her as a Tamer or as a Spiritual Beast here. However, even though she can only be special summoned once per turn, she counts as both a Tamer and she can be summoned at the same time. So keep that in mind. Even though she can be summoned once per turn, and you summon 2 of her at the same time, it counts in the same rule. So she is summoned for that once, hard once per. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to target Lara and Elder. And we're going to and then we're going to activate this. We're going to chain in response, our ulti Cannahawk, returning that to the extra deck, and we're going to target Lara and Pedalfin. We cannot summon Cannahawk because we already have summoned it off Lara. Now we're going to go ahead and grab a Paleo, activate a Pedalfin to bounce his card. Does not matter what it is. Now we can go into ulti Cannahawk again, and we can do the exact same thing we did before, because we have a live Tamer and Spiritual Beast that has not been summoned yet. So we're going to activate the first effect, and we are going to target, this time, a Paleo and Cannahawk. And then we are going to be able to take out said ulti Cannahawk, and we can go with a Paleo here. And add a copy of whatever. Does not matter. And we can banish Elder. Now if you had another Spiritual Beast, you'd be able to summon again, but again, probably by this point you should be winning the duel anyway. Then we can make an ulti Paleo. You could also make a Malevolent Sit if your opponent has another monster on the field, that's fine too. And you want to deal with it. And then we can go for lethal. He's not at 4K, just assume he is. He's at 8K because he's set to TCG rules. And that's game over, even though I'm going to surrender here. Alright, so that's what that is. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to surrender. And I am going to jump out here just to ignore this. We're not changing up the build. What we're doing is I'm just adding more returns in. So we see the combo more consistently. Don't do this. You can run 2 returns. It's okay to run 2 returns if you feel comfortable with doing so. But I'm just doing this so that way we see the combo so I can show things off more consistently. But that's all I'm trying to do with this. Just for combo purposes. All these are fine hands. I'm just trying to find combo hands that I'm looking for. Oh, you were so close. Okay. This is your standard Cannahawk play. This is just the standard play that I want to bring up. So, in a case where we open up Cannahawk+Return and a random Spiritual Beast, what we're going to do is we're going to summon Cannahawk, banish that Winda. We're then going to activate Return, banish the Cannahawk, banish the whatever Spiritual Beast is, summon the Winda, and then we can go into an ulti Pedalfin. So this is a weaker turn one, but if they can't get over ulti Pedalfin, this puts them in kind of an iffy scenario on that behalf. Okay. Still not seeing the play I want to see. Give me Cannahawk+Return. This is becoming a meme. I swear. Okay, this is Elder+Pengu. So this is Elder+Pengu. I'm going to show this off first. So this is Elder+Pengu. So if you open up Rampengu, this is a combo you can do. So you summon Elder, and then you're going to summon Pengu. So Pengu dumps the fusion from the extra deck in order to send a monster with that same type from your deck to the grave. So we're going to dump Cannahawk, and we can dump our Spiritual Beast with that same type. So we're going to dump Cannahawk to the graveyard. Then we're going to go ahead and contact those two off. Make Ulti-Hawk. Then we're going to activate Cannahawk, and we're going to do the Cannahawk loop here. So we are going to target Cannahawk and Ulti-Cannahawk and Elder. Now, because we can't summon Ulti-Cannahawk, we're just going to target and send that to the graveyard. Then we're going to summon to the field Elder+Rampengu and search Return. Now we can activate a Pengu, not Paleo. Dump a Paleo to send regular Paleo. And then we are going to go ahead and combo this off into an Ulti-Cannahawk. And then we're going to do a raw search. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to send our Ulti-Paleo and our Pengu to the graveyard. And we are going to search Winda. Now, after doing that, we are going to activate Return, banishing Winda, summoning a Paleo to the field. If you're going turn 1, this is going in defense. Then we can go ahead and use the Paleo's effect to banish the Cannahawk. Then we'll tag out our Ulti-Cannahawk because we have a Tamer and a Spiritual Beast that have not been summoned. Go into Winda+Cannahawk, banish the second Winda, and then we can contact these two off. If the game would be a doll, allow me to click. And we can go ahead and summon an Ulti-Petalfin. This will give you a double Winda setup. You don't have Return. If you open up Return with this combo, it's a lot stronger. But this is a really solid turn 1 play that ends on double Winda. So that's really good. And a secondary tag out into Elder and Hawk. And a banish on your opponent's turn to get this up to 33. This is a really good play against... This was a really good play against Thunder Dragons. Because after that, they can't destroy your Ulti-Petalfin with Chaos Dragon Levianeer. And it makes it really annoying for them to swing over a 3,300 attack monster. So keep that in mind. That's still a really good play to make, though, if you have Elder+Pengu, so that's really, really good. Now, please give me Winda+Cannahawk+Return. Alright, if it doesn't give it to me in a few shots, I'm just going to explain what to do. I wanted to show it to you visually, but... Alright, one more shot, and then we're going on to the turn 2 plays. Fine. You've had your chance. You've had your chance. Okay. A play you can make here, I want to show you one really cool play, is you could summon Elder and Winda. So with Elder+Winda+Return, you can do this. You can then go into an Ulti-Hawk, activate your Ulti-Cannahawk. Nope, not to do that. Oopsie. Well, what you would do here is you would... I clicked too fast. Oh, I thought toggle was to auto, so it must have changed it back to on. What you would do in that case is you would, once the summon resolves, send Elder and Winda to the graveyard, search at a Paleo, activate Return, banish the second copy of Winda that's in your hand. This is really useful. Well, you wouldn't... You could actually... Yeah, with a second copy of Winda, you could search something else. But if you didn't have a second copy of Winda, you could search a Winda, and then activate Return, banish that Winda, and summon back, search a Paleo, not Winda, excuse me. You would search a Paleo, and then activate Return, banish a Paleo, and summon it back, and then banish the Winda from your graveyard on your turn, and then during your opponent's turn, banish that Elder, and then having a Paleo with a fusion on the field for a little bit more protection. But again, it's not really needed. You can make that play if you want to. Okay. So let's show off the turn 2 plays now. Okay. We are waiting for Elder and Hawk so I can show you how to OTK. This is a play you must have down here. Perfect. Alright. Ignore these other two cards. Elder Hawk Winda is your predominant best OTK line. So let me show you it. Gonna summon Elder. You're gonna summon Cannahawk, and then you're gonna banish the Paleo. When that's been banished, you're gonna go into Cannahawk. Once that's happening, we're gonna do the chain tag out combo, and we're gonna target a Paleo and Cannahawk. Then we're gonna chain the tag out, or Cannahawk, and we're gonna go Elder and Hawk, and we are gonna search Return. After doing that, we are going to go ahead and activate Cannahawk's effect to banish a Petalfin. Then we are going to activate Return, banishing the Winda to summon a Paleo. Now I know I'm going really fast. If you have a question, feel free to ask me in the comments below, or ask me in Discord or my stream chat, anywhere you want to. Next, we activate a Paleo's effect, banishing that Return, and then we are going to go into Cannahawk again with the Elder and the Hawk. After doing so, we're going to activate Cannahawk's effect, and we're going to target the dead Return, because we can't special summon this, so it ends up being a free search in that department, and our Winda. Then we are going to go ahead and chain our Cannahawk again, since we have two new targets, being Winda and Petalfin, and we're going to send that to the field, sending our Return to get a free search for us, searching a Winda. Now, if they had a card in the field, we would go ahead and bounce it. Now, pretend they have a card in the field. Two monsters. We bounce that card in the field, and then we go into Malevolent Sin. Banish their second monster if they have it. Go battle phase. And attack for game. And that's how you do it. Easy OTK. That's your Elder+Cannahawk turn 2 OTK. You were one card off the play I wanted to show up too. Okay. Pretend we're going first here. This is the Cannahawk+Return Winda play. So pretend we're going first. We're only opting to go second now. So that way I have more cards in the hand. This is what I should have did before. We're going to go Cannahawk, activate the effect to banish an Elder. So this is Cannahawk+Return Winda. After banishing the Elder, we're going to activate Return, banishing the Winda in our hand to resummon the Elder onto the field. Now we can contact those off into an Cannahawk. Now, what's very important here is you have to have toggle to auto or on, like I said before. But also, if you have toggle to on, be very careful because it's going to prompt you before the summon goes, before on the summon itself, it's going to prompt you to tag out, and make sure you don't do that because then you're going to mess up your whole combo. Okay, as I accidentally did before, because I didn't realize toggle was on. In this case, always I highly recommend you have toggle to auto rather than to on. Always recommend it because that's going to make it a lot easier for you. So once the summon is successfully resolved, we can activate our ignition effect of Cannahawk. And in this case, we're going to target both Elder and Hawk. And then we're going to chain our tag out. Put it back to the extra deck. Summon back Winda and Cannahawk, because Cannahawk has not been summoned nor has Winda. And we're going to grab Alara. Then we're going to go ahead and activate Cannahawk's effect, banishing a second copy of Winda. And we can then sit on an Petalfin, and this gives us a really solid turn 1 play. Okay? Now, again with the double Winda, if they attack into us, we float in the double Winda. We get a Paleo on the field, we banish that Elder, and we have a secondary tag out. So that's something you want to keep in mind while playing Ritual Beast indefinitely. Okay, so that's that, and a box of cherries. Now, I want to show you off Elder+Canna+Pengu once the game allows me to do that. Okay, this is Elder+Canna+Pengu. This is the most longest and hardest to learn combo in Ritual Beast. Just bear with me, and like I said, any questions on any of these things I've shown you here today, make sure you comment below, ask me on Discord, ask me on my Twitch stream. So here we go. We're going to normal summon Elder. We're then going to summon our Cannahawk. With Cannahawk's effect, we're going to banish Rampengu out of the deck. In order for this combo to work, you need to open up Elder+Winda or Elder+Return. Now we're going to go ahead and contact these off into ulti-Hawk. We're going to activate ulti-Cannahawk, and we're going to target Pengu and Cannahawk. And we are going to tag these out into Elder and into Rampengu, sending Cannahawk to the graveyard to add a Winda. Now we're going to activate Pengu's effect, dumping ulti Paleo to the grave to send in Paleo. Now again, in the extra deck, make sure you run 2 ulti Paleos, please. You need 2. I got Cog with 1, but it's really tedious. You really want 2 of them, please. You do not need 3, but 2 is perfect. You can run 3 if you want, but I like 2. Okay, so now we're going to summon a regular Paleo in defense, off the return, banishing the Winda. After that, we're going to activate a Paleo's effect, banishing the Cannahawk from the graveyard, and then we are going to go ahead and use Elder and Pengu to make an ulti Cannahawk. We're going to activate ulti Cannahawk's effect, targeting the ulti Paleo and the Winda. So ulti Paleo will go to the graveyard because it says them, and then we are going to summon back Winda and the Cannahawk. Searching Laura. Now, we are going to activate ulti Cannahawk's effect, banishing a second copy of Winda. Then we are going to go back into the ulti Cannahawk for the 3rd time this turn. It's ridiculous. We're going to activate ulti Cannahawk to send Elder and Pengu to the graveyard, keeping the ulti Paleo on the field and searching whatever. If you have 1-2 returns, you can add a second return. If not, you can add a Petalfin if you want to. In this case, I like to add a Petalfin here. That's pretty good. We're going to add a Petalfin, and we are set. So we get 2 searches off that play, a double Winda setup, and a Paleo already established on the field. And we have a really, really killer banish zone. Okay, so that is going to do it for the combo guide. The Ritual Beast guide. If you have any questions... Oh, no, well, I want to go over one more thing. A bit of matchups. Alright. So your best matchups in the meta right now. I think we struggle against a lot of matchups in the meta, but I think that Odd Eyes is definitely winnable. I know Dweller can be tough, but if you have the right amount of back row or White Princess, there is definitely capability to win that matchup. Triple D is winnable. Going second can be rough, though. Burning Abyss is by far our toughest matchup in the meta. Because of Minded Plana, and because in order to play around Plana, now, if you are climbing the cog and you're wanting to play around Burning Abyss, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tag out before they go Plana and restrict how many cards you have in the banish pile. So try to keep as many cards at the graveyard as possible and tag out before they can attempt to Plana you. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Now, note at any time, they can lethal you with Virgil and Farfa. So that's 2 ways they can get 2 cards off the field very quickly. So that's something you need to know. Alright, so they can Farfa Winda and then Virgil one. But what you want to do is you always want to tag out before they can Plana you in that regard. Okay? Lunalight is winnable. What you're going to do is with Lunalight, you always want to loop double Winda onto the field. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to focus on double Winda and a Paleo. So after your Windas die, you're going to want to bring back a Paleo and then use the Paleo's effect to rebanish the Winda, keeping a Paleo on the board, and then use the Paleo, get that back in the banish pile, resummon that same Paleo because it's soft once per turn, banish back the Winda, so you always have double Winda, and constantly recycling that. That will make it very hard and very annoying for Lunalight to deal with. So even though they will have an untargetable Saber Dancer, it's going to make it very hard.
Sean, are you going to make dinner?
So, yeah. So that's what you generally want to do with that. Okay. So that's it. That's the Ritual Beast Guide. Until next time, it's your boy, Sean Matrai, signing out. Peace.